Hmm. Hello, YouTubers, diecast collectors. I just made a video about some comedy I wanted to perform for you guys, and like I said, if that goes well, I might actually work on some performance and stuff and sharpen that a little bit. But anyway, we have the video title tonight, since we're hovering at 800 subscribers. Again, if the last video was off color, offended anyone, I'm sorry, but just know that I don't care what stance you take in anything or whatever. I value you guys. You're the subscribers, and you guys do run the channel. But anyway, I wanted to get down to brass tacks here because I had somebody actually ask me in the last video. They asked me, "What is your favorite diecast model?" Um, it was spelled DYE, but I mean, I'm not going to correct anyone. But technically, um, so people ask me what my favorite, and in all honesty, I have got, and like I said, this is all for you guys. What is my favorite diecast model? Now, I don't necessarily want to take any of my displays apart, um, because I've worked so hard on them, and that's why there's been a big lack of like reviews lately. And since I don't really have many, um, I'll just break it down for a few. Uh, Things here and there. I don't want the video to run too long because then again, if I'm discussing like car by car, but I can reel off a few series that are significant, and I think we can go by like categories. Like, I think what we're gonna do here, since we were asked what my favorite diecast model is, and that's the big question that every collector's got, and they're always asking me, "What's your Grail piece? What is a holy Grail for you?" In all honesty, my entire collection is just very, very high end. In all honesty, it is hard. All of my friends say they love my collection. All of my friends say they love what I buy. They all, they've always said stuff. So now, in terms of motorcycles, since we can start on my motorcycle room, since we can start on this and kind of noodle on the main part of the collection, I would say my favorite has to be this one. If I can get the camera to pan over, let's see. It is that one right there, the big penny save that I've shown in countless videos. I would say out of bikes, that's going to be probably my favorite bike. Just because that model is just so well made, and that was like the bike that Kawak and Jesse James had ridden into the desert during the Pan America Mexico tour. So, in all honesty, that is my favorite bike. Now, some people want to know what my favorite 1/18th scale is. When they automatically ask, "What's your favorite 1/18th scale?" They automatically will go large scale. And not a lot of people know that some of the small scale stuff is pretty nice too. And but I can understand why people will gravitate towards stuff like this in the background, things like that, because the big stuff is worth some money, and I can see that. But when people ask me what my favorite is, in all honesty, that's a difficult question. I hate to repeat myself, but that really is hard when you have so much that's high end. Now, I'll go a few series here. My 100% stuff, and I honestly do have a lot of 100% diecast Hot Wheels. And in all honesty, my favorite set, and in all honesty, my absolute favorite set, and the one that is the most valuable out of all of them, believe it or not, it's not the Ed Roth set that I had shown off quite a few years ago when I got it on eBay. It is not the Ed Roth set. I have a two-car set that's got the 62 Ferrari and then the 2003 Enzo. So that by far is probably the holy grail of my 164th. That is the absolute most valuable piece you will see in my collection, because that set is so significant. That set, since it was so the only time they had had a GTO and a Ferrari Enzo in a box set, that piece is worth now. If you guys are ready for the number, that piece is worth $200. So, in terms of the most valuable, what a Grail piece is in my collection, that 100% Ferrari uh, two car set definitely ranks as my favorite in all honesty, because you're not going to see it too often. I'm sorry, I thought I heard something in the background. You're not going to see that Ferrari set too often, and that's a really well done model. Now, some people might ask me what my favorite movie car is, in terms of 1/18th scale. Um, if I really had to pick, if there were movie cars that I had to sell and get rid of, if there was anything that I would definitely hang on to, I do have a signed by all three of the Dukes, and it's signed in my name. And I literally went down to Cooter's Last Stand, and I had gotten signatures on that particular car. So, in all honesty, that is definitely my favorite out of uh, out of the out of all my 1/18th scale. Yeah, the General Lee that I got signed by all three of the Dukes is my favorite. Now, people want to know what my favorite 1/64th or like my favorite green light is. In terms of green light, I really don't know where to begin with that. When you're talking about 1/43rd scale, uh, I'm gonna say my Fast and Furious stuff is probably what I value the most. Like stuff that I literally ordered and went on websites to get like 3,000 and stuff. And by the way, guys, I wanted to thank today. I wanted to thank two websites. One is 3,000 Toys, and if you want to order stuff, 3,000 Toys is one of the best ordering sites. They have an unparalleled selection, and they've got good shipping. They've got nice flat rate shipping. And yeah, remember to check out 3,000 Toys for all of your needs. And then also, I want to thank Diecast Models Wholesale because they are one of the best wholesale companies. They have good deals on stuff. And if you use coupon code COMPLETE and you use NEXT, you'll get 10% off your order. So make sure you check out Diecast Models Wholesale and 3,000 Toys. All right, so anyway, back to the video. Now, so like I said, I definitely like my 1/43rd scale Fast and Furious. That hands down is probably some of now possibly the most valuable 1/43rd that I own. Um, in terms of 1/43rd scale, I really don't know what the most valuable ones are, but there definitely are some that rank up there. So yeah, and then also another one I get, what's my favorite hot rod? I don't get that question. I don't get questions like these very much, but like I said, since the last viewer had actually asked in my video what my favorite diecast was, like I said, I've run down a few categories here, but in terms of my favorite hot rod, like in 1/18th scale, if I was gonna rank that, um, I'm gonna say the Mr. Gasser one probably. That car was significant when I wanted to order that because I like Bel Airs and I like Gassers, and the problem is M2 had come out with a few in 1/64 scale, which I do love the M2 machines, Gassers that they've been doing. And don't get me wrong, I like some M2 machines. I have a soft spot for some of them. I don't go out of my way to collect every single M2 out there, but I like the gassers. I like the auto mod stuff like that, the resto mod style stuff. But when M2 kind of does something a little different than the normal, recasted kind of type stuff, and even some of those are kind of redone, but it is nice to see that company kind of treading in a different direction with some stuff. And uh, in all honesty, there are more M2s I have been buying, but it didn't really go on my radar too much more. But I just don't really buy a lot of M2s. At least I don't go out of my way to really order them online, but I do want to get that Maj square body, and then I think I want to get the Captain's square body. But I don't really go out of my way too much for M2s, and I don't really order them online. I think the last thing that The last few things I ordered online were probably the auto mods and the gasser set, and that's just because I found the auto mods, but I never picked them up, and I think it was like the first or second release. And if you'd seen the video, I mean, I will. I don't know how to do video links, but I can always, if you want me to link something in a description, I can always re-edit the video. But just to ask if you want me to link videos in the I'm seeing my viewers real quick, so I can link them in the description if you want. But anyway, like I said, the last M2 I really ordered was the Gas or Econoline van, and just because that was kind of different, the Edelbrock one. But in all honesty, I'd say in terms of my favorite M2s, I'm not gonna categorize everything, but in terms of my favorite M2s, I am partial to the Hemisphere, and just because that's a unique Foos car, in all honesty, that is probably one of my favorite M2 castings they did. And the only reason I like that is that casting is not done a lot by M2 machines. It's very different for sure. And yeah, it was a SEMA show car, and it didn't get a lot of recolors, and it was the first one that they did of the Hemisphere, and the only other time they've done that is in the Full Throttle line. So, which actually brings me to another subject matter. People want to know what my favorite 124 scale is in terms of hot rods. They might want to know that one too. Um, I have a lot of 124 scale in all honesty, and I'll be completely frank, that is a difficult one. And I would say the best price I got a 124th for, in terms of the lowest price that I managed to pay, which had probably the best return value, that would be my ZZ Top Cadillac Cadzilla. Just because that car, since Dusty Hill had passed away, that car is getting to be worth some money, and I'd only paid $45 for that thing, and now it's gone way up. Anyway, but trying to think if I was gonna say M2 machines, in terms of 124 scale, by M2, and all honesty, I don't really anymore. I used to collect them a lot. I don't go out of my way for a lot of the 124 scale stuff that M2 does. It either has to have a certain type of motor or something in it or be a specific car. That being said, I do own a few of the Mustangs, but just because they're kind of unique type deal. I have a Shelby Hertz, and then I have I think it's like the 89 years of Shelby when he passed away. But those aren't the most significant ones. And I mean, then again, I do have a few that I've hung on to. And I definitely have hung on to the Mustangs, the 64, I think, because they were so well done in terms of M2 machines. They were some of the nicer ones. I don't know what it is, but the 124 scale Mustang, whether it be the Boss or I think, oh, it's my PC fan. Okay, I was wondering what that was. Yeah, so anyway, in all honesty, in terms of 124 scale, I do have a lot of Mustangs by them, and I have a little bit of a soft spot for the Mustang Boss and stuff like that. But if I was going to say hot rod style, I would definitely say my Chip Foose, the Mach 1 or the Gambler. I'd say the Gambler Chip Foose is probably my favorite one that I have. So yeah, that's definitely like favorite out of the 124 scale in terms of M2 stuff. Um, Now people ask what the best piece I got for free. What was my best freebie? In all honesty, Don had given me a lot of them, but what ranks best in terms of freebies, I would say the best free thing I got, I'm going to say the Ratfink 49 Mercury that I have. And if I can show it off here, if I can get the camera over, that one right there, that is my favorite. And I think you know, but if you've seen the video, you probably know, but that's probably my favorite in terms of the freebies and stuff. That was probably the best one. And I did get a free Sturgis special from somebody that I have hung on to, which is a Jesse James bike, but that probably ranks as my favorite freebie that I got. And not only because that car is so significant, but that car has gone way up in value, in my opinion. In my book, that's definitely the best freebie I got in my collection. Um, I'm trying to think what else. Johnny Lightning. In all honesty, it's really hard to say what my favorite Johnny Lightning is. Mm, I don't know. That's a difficult one. I don't know if I can even answer that because I have a lot of Johnny Lightnings in my collection. I have a lot of round two ones, and then also I have a lot of some of the original Johnny Lightnings for sure. But it's hard to say. I mean, I love my Johnny Lightnings. Don't get me wrong, but it's difficult. It is difficult. Um, I do not know. That's a hard one to figure out. Likewise, um, I would say my favorite round two one they did. I would definitely say my favorite round two Johnny Lightning they've done is the Rat Fink stuff. I'll be honest, I just scored my Holy Grail Rat Fink car I've been trying to get, and that was probably number one on my Johnny Lightning list to actually get. And then I also have that ambulance one, but I always thought those were pretty cool. Uh, Even though the Rat Fink ambulance is kind of the Ecto one, just in a different style, and I know they've had that casting probably forever, but I like what they're doing with the Rat Fink stuff. I definitely like that we're getting like new Rat Fink cars for sure. And hopefully we're going to keep that coming for sure because I would love, absolutely love to see a lot of new Rat Fink stuff being released and castings that not necessarily haven't been done. So maybe we'll like, hopefully, I really hope that we start seeing some newer castings though. Like the Country Squire was cool because I didn't have that. Now, I'm not saying I'll go for all the Rat Fink stuff because um, unless I start opening packages, which I don't like to open stuff. I mean, I'm kind of a box Nazi when it comes to that, but I don't like to open a lot of packages for sure. But unless I actually open them and do that, I definitely won't be able to collect a lot of rat fake stuff. So if I'm gonna just leave them in the hallway hung up on thumbtacks, then again, therein lies a big problem because you can't really put a whole lot in that. Oh God, excuse me. Yeah, so I can't really put a lot in that hallway. I just released my own fragrance. Sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, so like I said, Rat Fink stuff, it depends on the casting, depends on what they're coming out with. Now people want to ask me what I most look forward to, new models coming out. In terms of stuff that I really am looking forward to buying, I definitely want to get the Rat Fink ramp truck they've just currently done. And that's a really nice piece, in my opinion. I want to get that so I can put the Gasser Bel Air on the back of that thing. Um, in all honesty, I really do want that Rat Fink truck. Um, that really is a big holy grail kind of piece that. Mm, sorry, I have a little hiccup. That definitely is the holy grail piece that I want for the main display. And I mean, the two 118th that I really want to get, in all honesty, not the movie cars because you can find those pretty easily, but the two cars I want, in all honesty, are the Rat Fink ramp truck and then that Willys Gasser that they've done, the coupe. Um, I don't want to make this too much longer because, well, I guess I can keep going a little bit, but in all honesty, yeah, that is my favorite. Now, people want to know what my favorite Highway 61 might want to know. Um, Depending on how I rank those. My favorite Highway 61 that I got probably has to be my Fast and Furious Yanko. That's definitely my favorite. Now, in my opinion, some people might want to know what my favorite green light 118th is. That's hard to say. I'm gonna say my favorite 1/18th green light has got to be either the Bigfoot, which was almost pretty much a new casting when it came out. I definitely like the Bob Chandler Bigfoot, and if you've not seen the review, make sure you check that out. It is on my channel under diecast reviews. Yeah, Bob Chandler's Bigfoot is definitely a one for me, and just because of the size, and it is 1/18th, and it is a monster truck, but just because of that size and just absolute display presence, yeah, the steering may not work, but it was just, in my opinion, so monumental in moving Greenlight forward. Because for a while, until they'd really done some really nice 1/18th, that I genuinely wanted to order, not just the Vanishing Point car that I've reviewed, and then like so many others that they've had. Um, because I'm really trying to think off the top of my head the green light film cars, because I remember ordering a lot of those. But in all honesty, the favorite of the new castings in my book definitely had to have been the Fall Guy truck. Now, people criticize that video for saying they had inaccuracies and how I felt about that truck, and I know I'm still trying to erase the bad taste that video left. But I really did, in all honesty, after I think about it now, I really did like that Fall Guy truck that Greenlight recently came out with. That was a cool model. It may not have had the working suspension. Again, it may not have had the accurate interior, but it was a nice truck. And now that I look back on it, the logo on the hood is actually series accurate, and I didn't know that. So I am glad I took a look at the series a little bit. And that, don't get me wrong, I haven't seen a lot of Fall Guys, so I have no idea. I've only seen one or two episodes, so I may not know a lot about the C10 or the Sierra Grande from that show, but in my opinion, that was probably in my book the best movie car that Greenlight had recently done. In terms of racing stuff, like I said, the Bigfoot kind of also is another truck, but uh, yeah, I mean, if I had to rank trucks and stuff in terms of racing stuff, which Greenlight doesn't really, they really do a lot of stock stuff in my opinion, but to see like the Fall Guy truck that was lifted and stuff, and then to see, the Bob Chandler truck, the Kings of Crunch being done. In all honesty, I do think the Kings of Crunch is a pretty neat series, in 1/64th and 1/18th, and I might get more into that as the videos progress when I get more of them, but I'll keep you posted. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna keep you guys on here for a little longer, so we'll go on. Now, if people want to know what my favorite GMP model is, now I'm being very brand specific here because I'm just kind of going and rattling off like my favorite types of everything now. But GMP models, man, that's a hard one because I have a lot of GMP. I don't have a lot of GMP stuff, but I do have a few really good releases that they have done. I have two dragsters by them, and honestly, um, my favorite dragster they put out, because they do a lot of dragster type stuff, I would say it's my Swamp Rat 3. And if you haven't watched that video, it doesn't got a lot of viewership, but Swamp Rat 3 is my favorite out of all those. I do have the Greer Black Prud'homme when I got a really good deal on that thing, actually. I got it for way under what it was worth. I think it was like $100 or something, and it wasn't too bad, really. And that car actually is going for way more now, and it was a really limited run. I think there were like 500 of those made, and that was a pretty cool one. It was a good quality car and stuff. It was nice. So um, I like the Greer Black Prud'homme one. That was my favorite new release. Um, the one I'm really hoping that GMP will do again, because now the car has gone insanely through the roof. I'm really hoping they will do another drag racer that was significant. I'm hoping they do Tommy Ivo's Showboat. I think it's called the Showboat One or something. But I'm hoping we get the 4-engine dragster that he drove. I really hope that we'll get a Showboat eventually. Now, I really wish they do it in either 1/18th or 1/64th, but in all honesty, to see the four-engined dragster that Tommy drove, that would be very cool to see in my book. The guy's getting up there in age now, so he's getting pretty old. So hopefully, maybe we did get the car that was hauling the dragster. So maybe if we get another Ivo licensing, hopefully GMP will do that. In terms of another thing, I'm really hoping that gets released. GMP is already starting with again the Ratfink license, since Ratfink is under a few different umbrellas, and Round Two has acquired the rights to a lot of the Ed Roth stuff, and also so has freak Acme. Acme has definitely acquired the rights to a lot of different things, and they definitely are quite a monopoly on the industry for sure. In my opinion, Acme is pretty good. I've always liked their products. I absolutely have no complaints. But to get the Shelby collectibles now, theirs are going for a lot of money. But if I had to say Shelby stuff, in terms of my favorite Shelby collectible stuff that they've done, I would definitely, in all honesty, I would say my Ken Miles Ford GT40, or I would say the Ford GT Mark. I think it's Ivy, but I don't know what the Roman numeral. I think it's like the Mark IV, the Mark V. I have reviewed that. And by the way, I did fix that side view mirror that was kind of messed up on it. But yeah, that Ford GT is really nice in my book. So both the Ford GTs are really nice models for being a mid-level range collectible. And even though I collect a lot of the higher end stuff, I do appreciate decent, the middle of the road kind of type stuff. But yeah, I really do like that Ford GT casting and the swoopier red version, and I also have the Hot Wheels edition of that, which is really cool. So in terms of that, I really do like those. Some now we're gonna go back to another brand here, which is Auto World. And my favorite Auto World stuff that they've recently released, and I'm really hoping that they might continue the series. I really, 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 in all honesty, in terms of cars that are hot rod styled, I really like the lowriders that Greenlight has. That Auto World. Yeah, I'm thinking about the future release that Greenlight is getting ready to come out with, and if you haven't checked it out by now, if you guys are up in the know and you haven't been living underneath a rock for a while, Greenlight is getting ready to release some lowriders in their California lowrider. Now, there's a few that I have my eye on. One, I definitely want to get the Gypsy Rose. That is one that I will definitely need for my collection. I shouldn't say need, because collecting is definitely a want. But if I do get some more money and the stimulus comes down the pipeline, I kind of gave up on following the news and stuff with the stimulus and things, because there's a lot of fighting. It doesn't matter what side it's on, but it's just fighting, period. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm not going to get into the political side of it, but yeah. Like I said, if we do get it, there will be a few diecasts I will be picking up, because there is so much getting ready to hit the market now, and it's absolutely insane. Like now we're getting like Highway 61 stuff. We're starting to get some major, like really nice stuff that's coming out finally, and they are re-releasing a lot. Like I said, with the Detroit Shaker coming out and things like that, we have a lot of the altered wheelbase stuff that they're kind of redoing, since they're redoing a lot of the supercar collectibles, a lot of the Ertl molds, things like that. We're finally starting to get more of the precision stuff. If I was going to say what I want Auto World to do, I would honestly like more of the quarter mile stuff to be done. Don't get me wrong, I do like Auto World. Trust me, I do like Auto World. It's not that I don't like Auto World, but I think Greenlight kind of edges them out a little bit since they have so much more variety. But I like Auto World since generally, like I said, what they do is they stick to a lot of like the repops of things. And don't get me wrong, Auto World's a nice company. They're not slouching by any means, but um, I definitely think Acme definitely edges them out a lot more. I like their castings, and it's nice to see the 164 true 164th being done. But to be honest with you, I wish the 164 scale series had a little more variety than just kind of the plain Jane run of the mill type stuff in my book, because um, I just really wish Auto World would release like kind of more elaborate stuff like their lowriders. And don't get me wrong, the lowriders are amazing. I love the certain paint schemes on those. But I've only like three out of the few, and I guess I have a soft spot for the 62 and 63's Impala. And I did like the Chevy Caprice they did. That was a cool one, the green one with the stripes. But I really think Auto World definitely needs to catch up, because they're nice. They're a nice company. I'm not gonna say anything bad about them, because I certainly like their stuff, but I think they need stuff that's a little less vanilla. And I'm hoping that uh, we get more releases that are a little more unique, if you know what I mean, because that's what I generally like to gravitate towards. And usually, most of the Auto Worlds that are true 164th get relegated to my living room. Now, I don't go out of my way to order many of the true 164th, because uh, it's just kind of gotten thinned out so much now. I haven't seen a lot of true 164th at Target, in all honesty. I'm hoping Target kind of takes over for Auto World, because I have not seen enough of those getting released. But it's harder to find the true 164th. It definitely is if you're not, unfortunately, if you're not at Walmart right when they unload stuff, which is almost impossible to be there. But I do prefer the more elaborate cars that Auto World sometimes, sprinkles in here and there. But don't get me wrong, I like them, but I really wish that we had a little more variety. It's nice to get the Johnny Lightnings. Don't get me wrong, I like the Johnny Lightnings a little bit. And they are coming out with some pretty neat releases for JL. And in all honesty, that's the only side I really lean on with Auto World. I collect the JLs, and I don't really collect a whole lot else with them. Um, in fact, actually, I should have just grabbed the bag. I just got the Boogeyman from Target. But yeah, in all honesty, Johnny Lightning is really the only company that I really think is kind of still kicking it in terms of the Auto World 164th. But I just really wish that I really wish they would release more like less run of the mill stuff. Yeah, I really do. All right, so I'm gonna kind of get more into the favorites here of my collections. So my favorite GMP, just regular car release, not dragster, but I guess a lot of the GMP stuff in my collection is a race car mostly. In terms of GMP stuff, my absolute favorite car that's gone like way up in value now has got to be the one that I ordered last year, and it's an awesome model. I got to be honest with you, it is an awesome model. The Big Red Camaro, that car, I believe that car kind of reignited my interest in higher end stuff, and the GMP release of that. If you can get one without the defects and stuff, that doesn't have like all the factory flaws that they're known to have. Um, yeah, the Outlaw Racer Big Red is definitely has to be my favorite. In terms of Acme stuff, which I do have a few Acmes here and there, the Mr. Gasser is an Acme model for sure. And I mean, Acme and GMP can kind of be interchangeable, because a lot of the Acme stuff is kind of from the same mold set. Um, some of the Acme stuff, yes, it is branded under Acme, but a lot of it's original castings and stuff. So yes, it says Acme on there, but it's by different companies. There's Precision Miniatures, there's GMP. I'm not going to get into all the complexities of it, but in terms of my favorite newer Acme model that I recently had purchased the start of this year, it's got to be the Sublime Green Sam Posey Challenger. That has to be one of my favorites because I only bought it for like 130 something, 125 or something. And I think I got the Dan Gurney Cuda thrown in with some shipping refund. So that probably has to be my favorite too. Just in terms of race cars by Acme, that's not GMP. And don't get me wrong, the Big Red certainly ranks up there with both of those cars. Trust me. Um, I think the Big Red and my three Trans Am cars that I have got to be my favorites, just in terms of race cars in general. Um, and I do have a lot of Dale Earnhardt stuff. I won't lie, but I think the most significant in terms of Dale Earnhardt collectibles that I have, it's got to be my Peter Max Dale Earnhardt car. And because I got that for such a good price, and it's an amazing model. Um, I think it's pretty much a Revell casting, but it is really nice. So the Peter Max car is one of my favorites. Yeah, in all honesty, that is one of my favorite models that they have come out with for sure. But yeah, the Peter Max car. In terms of the racing cars of Earnhardt, I'd have to say it's the Corvette C5R. That's another one I really, really like. Um, yeah, in all honesty. But now I'm gonna try to wrap this up a little bit. I know I'm moving a little slow here. But I'll finish with this last one. My favorite 1/18th by Hot Wheels. And honestly, that's a hard one. This is the last one, and this is the hardest one that I have to kind of answer here, and then I got to kind of like hurry up here. But my favorite 1/18th Hot Wheels model. It's hard to say. I mean, I really like my Ford GT, the new Ford GT, in terms of like just cars. But in terms of hot rod stuff, because they did do a lot of hot rods, and my shelf is very much evidence of that. My two shelves I have side by side is a definite evidence of that for sure. But I like the G Machine series just because you don't see them too often. I did like the G Machines, and those have gone way off the way out the roof. I mean, the G Machines are going for a lot now, depending on the price range. But yeah, the G Machines are cool. Don't get me wrong; they are some neat models. They're really nice. But in terms of 1/18th that is significant, I'd have to say my G Machines are some of my favorite ones that I have, just because I like that Pro Tour look. But um, in terms of the 1/18th, I'd have to say I'm a sucker for Rat Fink stuff. So I do like my Beatnik Bandit because Don did give that to me, and that's a cool one. But in terms of the ones I have actually paid for, I've got to say the Ed Roth panel van has to rank as my favorite. And just because that really is a significant piece, that is a very significant 1/18th for sure. And then again, I would say my favorite casting that I had been after for so long has got to be my second Dior, the Acceleracers Edition one. The It's a Peterson exclusive, and that one definitely would, I gotta say, rank as the favorite of mine. That's just so unique because that's a really cool casting in my book. The Dior is definitely my favorite, and just because that was kind of a one-time release, so I guess in 1/18th, I would definitely say the one that sits front and center in my book. The G Machines are definitely cool, but in my opinion, the Diora, that definitely ranks as the favorite for me. So yeah, we're now hovering around 40 minutes. This has probably been a long video. I hope you guys will get the opportunity to engage with me in the comments section. But if you don't agree with it, then I guess we can duke it out in the comments. But that's pretty much all I gotta say, guys. I mean, that kind of wraps up kind of like the favorites of everything. I have a bunch of random stuff I could say. I could go on, like I said, but I mean, I could get into all kinds, serious team transports. I could get into Auto World some more in depth, but uh, and I'll leave you this one last, the 118th. I would say my Candy Clark American Graffiti card, the one that's got the signature. That's a favorite of mine, and then I have a few signed pictures, but yeah. And I think the biggest thing, my favorite piece of art or wall art that I have, uh, to wrap it up, is kind of the bumper resin shelves that I got from the consignment shop. I would say those are definitely my absolute favorite in terms of just, decor. There is a quarter scale gas pump that I have, but yeah, that, in all honesty, the bumper shelves are my definite favorite. They're the first thing I see in the morning when I walk in my kitchen, and they're definitely like the conversation piece in my kitchen for sure. And they just add a nice center point in the hallway. But anyway, guys, I've gone on long enough. We're at 40 minutes, and I want to kind of wrap this up. I want to go play a game with my buddies, so I will let you go. I am the J Man 63, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.